Game 3. Welcome to a pretty dang exciting match for the main tournament. ALTTPR going on immediately. We have Oneup facing P-Train. As I said, this is Game 3 against two pretty impressive runners. 1-1, this is go big or go home. Their tournament lives are on the line. It's going to be an awesome watch. I am joined today with the great Ari. Ari, how are you doing today? Are you excited?
Doing great. Super excited. Should be an amazing match. Two like old-time runners that have been around for ages. Went super deep into the NMG tournament that just finished as well. So really looking forward to this match, and yeah, we'll see how it's going to pan out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the NMG tournament just wrapped up, and actually, yeah, as you said, so Oneup and P-Train, very very solid executioners all around. But yeah, Oneup ended up getting pretty dang deep. I think exceeded many people's expectations, including himself. So I definitely expect a really great display of showcase of execution from both these runners today.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all going to start with escape. We're going to see what kind of early items we get.
Dude! That is one of the nicest items to be able to see before we get to the back, because once we go rescue Princess Zelda, we can immediately mirror to our advantage this time and get right back to Hyrule Castle. We can save ourselves basically. Is it something like a minute getting back out?
Yeah, something like that. It's a huge benefit until you forget about it, which I hope they won't do.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I definitely hope that P-Train won't, mirror before finishing the job this time. Something about quick swapping away from the bow,
that is something that I think, you probably just only make that mistake once, and then you are very, very conscious about being able to use the mirror right after you think you counted the right number of arrows. And similarly, of course, we also don't want them to forget somebody, very important. This is a escort mission, right? We certainly want the princess with us before we quick swap to over and activate the mirror. Otherwise, we're going to have to go and get her all over again.
Yeah. So for the people who missed it, in Game 2, I think it was the second game, right?
Yep.
That P-Train was in the Vitreous fight, shot 7 arrows, and then quick swapped away from the bow just to get ready to not have to menu after the boss anymore. But instead of the 8th arrow, he decided to mirror and had to do, parts of Mystery Mire over again.
It's a good thing that he's so well practiced, right? Running, a lot of practice came probably from NMG, in addition to all the other random he plays, so I'm sure he ended up getting back there, lickety split.
Yeah, but I bet he wasn't feeling too good after that. Still managed to win the race, though.
Yeah.
So here we are in Game 3. Fun early flippers as well, so it's a nice couple of progression items we got here early.
Yeah, this definitely can open up a lot. This is also, presumably with the flippers, they are going to be on the lookout for a bit more money, right? Automatically does put in the fabled King Zora 500 rupee payoff immediately in logic after this, as well as some of the other flipper checks that people tend to, arm some fake flippers for.
Yeah, the early game is definitely wide open at this point. You can go for early Eastern, depending on whether it's a crystal or a pendant. We haven't seen a map check yet, but yeah, the Zora area is open, and yeah, who knows what you can do with the mirror later on.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Early bow often indicates an immediate or semi-immediate beeline over to Eastern Palace. It does look like both P-Train and Oneup has remembered that they do have that mirror. Definitely save the backtracking. Somewhat more tedious, especially without the boots, to come here to the back of escape. Still looking for those bomb drops, though. It doesn't look like we even gotten a drop. So
no.
We got a drop. We did see a rupee out of the rats, unfortunately, so that means no luck there. I think they got one more shot, right?
Yeah, so I think that the guard / rats dropped. I was gonna say small magic, so I actually thought that we would get like the small variety prize back. Kind of surprised that they didn't decide to go further with farming that, because that should go towards the bomb. But maybe I missaw it.
Yeah, so it does look like the snakes though on P-Train's side. We did see P-Train end up picking up one bomb, and in addition to the small magic drop as well. So hopefully that is going to be something that Oneup can take advantage of. Not sure though. Or sorry, no.
Yeah, the other way around. Yeah.
Yes, Oneup did that. P-Train did not. Yes.
Yeah, so it did turn out that the snakes were the small variety prize pack, but maybe P-Train thought it was like the magic prize pack. But aside from the bottle, it doesn't look like it's going to be a huge detriment on P-Train's side, unless it decides to have an item.
Yeah, and for the back of escapes, right? That's certainly not going to be the worst ones, right? It's kind of. I think there was one tournament race where one runner had, I want to say something like a master sword and boots and a medallion back there all at once, and the other runner ended up not getting it or something like that. So that was definitely pretty rough. But this differential, P-Train doesn't end up going back. It's probably not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah, it might be a small feels bad, having to go back for Sick Kid depending on what happens in the seed, but I don't think it's going to be a huge deal at this point.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see what happens. Does look like Eastern is our only luck gold pendant at this point, so I don't think we'll be seeing that anytime soon.
Oh, what a surprise, right? We get the early bow. That's not, of course, our starting weapon, and Eastern Izzy pendant. Kind of actually similar to, I won't say similar, but so in games 1 and 2, ooh, that's a pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty good mushroom drop item that just kind of these hammers just grow out of the ground. All good.
Okay, I like checking the extra crap there as well.
Yeah, so far though, not a lot of funds. We would like to at least get to 100 by the time we can get into Kakariko and pay off the bottle vendor. There is going to be some amount of money in Kakariko, but so far it looks like kind of slim pickings.
Yeah, especially if we also are not going to get any bombs. Well, I thought P-Train... Okay, P-Train did kill one of the enemies already after the triple, but oh, there's the bombs. Okay, that's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be able to save our money and not having to buy bombs. Looks like be good.
Yeah, and it also looks like Oneup, ended up getting another bomb drop from the Crow, so this should be sufficient at least for him to get through Blind's basement. And of course, we're gonna, try and roll our luck, see if we can get some more bombs. Otherwise, we are gonna have to, as you said, Ari, we're gonna have to spend some of our hard picked up money in order to probably go buy some more bombs.
Yeah, P-Train is going to need a little bit of money from the chest if he doesn't want to spend some extra or like backtrack into one of the well or Blind's hideout, because otherwise he's going to end up on 92. Oneup is going to end up on 105 if he picks up all the money.
That's good points. Normally, you don't really think these like kind of random, 25 rupee drops kind of end up mattering, but we actually might see a difference here.
Yeah, and there's the bottle for P-Train, so he's not going to feel bad at all. Once he gets back into the back of escape, it's going to be a small time loss having to go back after finding gloves, but at least it's not going to hugely impact the race at this point.
Yeah, well, we'll just hope for gloves and some. Oh, speaking of gloves, okay, so now we'll just need some boosts in order to make the trip slightly faster.
Yeah. Also, turns out that Oneup didn't get the bombs from the tree pool, and I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So
he is going to isolate that back of well location, and that also means that he's not immediately going to get the bottle vendor item. But yeah, the tracker is looking mighty full already, and we're only... Oh my goodness! Oh, what is going on?
Alright, okay, so that's a very, very important purchase that P-Train just made on his side. Oneup looks like he actually is going to delay that because he wants some bombs. So it's going to be pretty important for Oneup to eventually get some more money for bottle vendor.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to whether or not he's going to farm money in Blind's hut or something, because missing out on a hookshot for a while, like, depending on where the Moon Pearl is, he might not come back there for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be 20 in the well, but that's it, because there was a piece of heart in the back. But yeah, between all these progression items, like, that's a lot.
Oh yeah, and Yeah, and I was gonna say, OneUp also did find the fire rod in the back of the tavern, so that also does make a somewhat say. I mean, like it can act as a light source in some cases. Like for example, depending where the big key is in Eastern Palace, can actually put that dungeon now entirely in logic. But otherwise, though, it's definitely going to be a fire source. Pretty useful. Let's say maybe we can actually get back into desert, assuming it's not boost locked as well.
Yeah, both of them wasted a little bit of time in Kakariko. P-Train deciding to use a bomb to get to blow up in that house that has like, the rats and the 4 bombs in them. It's gonna cost a little bit of time. OneUp saving quitting, which means that he's isolating Baldivinder and the south part of Kakariko.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell this is something that may or may not be like I would say like as polished, just because you don't really expect to have such meager pickings. By the time you kind of enter Kakariko, and then you don't really find much in Kakariko in terms of, I guess, like money.
Yeah, because it was all replaced with progression items.
Yeah, imagine complaining early on that you get progression. And speaking of progression, P-Train found powder on Rayscape, so he actually has the hammer as well, so this is actually going to be accessible to him immediately. Kind of curious to see if he decides to end up going back, or maybe delays this for another Kakariko trip.
Yeah, I think... Oh, hello.
Oh, wow, what up? Making a really nice call. So, of course, Hobo is 100% logic because we got those flippers, but early boots, super, super nice to find.
Yeah, it turns out that P-Train is not going to get that for a while because he's going to check back of escape first. He might even immediately go to the mountain after this. Wow, that's
yeah, this is gonna
fun.
be really tempting.
To quickly go back to what I wanted to say before is that I could imagine that P-Train maybe wanted to delay the powder check until when he has Darkworld access, so he can combine it when going into Village of Outcasts later on. If the Moon Pill is there, however, that's going to be slightly awkward.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, like as you said, yeah, the very first check that we found the mirror inside our house. And okay, do you have bets about whether or not Turtle Rock is a pendant? We just found the ice rod in the back of Sahash's chat.
Everything can be a pendant at this point. I mean, we have complete swamp access, we have complete pod access, we have Skullwoods and Thieves Town. Like, half of the Dark World half of the Dark World dungeons are accessible when we find our Dark World access.
Yeah, I mean, so we're like 11, almost 12 minutes in, and we're already basically thinking about what we also need for Go mode. This is actually like kind of crazy because I don't even think we even potentially need that much more. We are going to need a couple swords, especially on OneUp side. He is probably going to look forward to getting a sword in his hands sooner rather than later, of course, with those boots. We may need a medallion. We definitely need those mitts, but other than that, yeah. What else? What else do we really need?
Yeah,
and Moon Pearl, of course. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, we're going to need either flute or book for desert. That's another thing, but it's all speculation at this point. We'll probably get a Dark World check sooner than later at this rate.
Yeah. Yeah, especially as you said, maybe, we do have technically not logical mountain access, but we do have the hookshot, we got a glove. These guys are more than capable of doing this dark room just like OneUp is doing right now. So yeah, we can also get up there to Tower of Hera with the mirror, which is definitely going to be our one peek into the Dark World.
Yeah. So nothing in Mini Moldern Cave. OneUp hasn't gone anywhere near the South Shore. He just went straight to the boots on Hobo. Which is
yeah. Well, I mean, so and the fact that he doesn't have the hookshot right now, it doesn't really look like it's going to hurt him. Probably unless he somehow finds no, I mean he needs like the Moon Pearl and the mitts because he has the hammer and he has the mirror, so he's going to be able to access East Death Mountain as well. Oh, yeah. and this is also really good for P-Train too, because P-Train is making the swimming to the out of the way but in logic location of the Hobo, so he's gonna be able to get his boots as well.
Yeah, this does even out a little bit. No movement advantage for either of them. It's gonna be the hookshot for P-Train. We found all 4 baubles already. What is even going on?
Yeah. These guys are going to be super, super safe. Although, we've got so many bottles. Did we even get anything good that's inside? So I know we got
a fairy.
Bees. Okay, that's right. We did have a fairy. Okay. I think so. It was like 2 Bs, 1 fairy, and 1 empty, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not even deciding to pick that up. It makes sense. Like 4 is just a little bit of overkill. All right, we're gonna see our first dungeon now. We're not going to be able to get a Herapod from Oneup's side, so if there's a small key in the rear chest, we might actually get to see a top room. It's gonna be real awkward if then suddenly there's progression in the big chest. Okay, it doesn't matter. Good.
Yeah.
Oh,
alright, yeah. Okay, so much items, and that means that we are most likely to actually see some pretty strong divergence, right? P-Train having the first one, having Dark World access, he has just so much open to him. He can start a Hype Cave, he can go do Thieves Town, he can go up the mountain. I mean, yes.
Yeah,
it looks like, yeah.
Abundance of riches. Yeah, I'm almost a little bit surprised that we get these checks. Maybe I could have seen P-Train maybe wait for a little bit more money and then like mirror after Catfish or something, a little bit of an incentive to combine those checks. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, and we also do get to see a free refill of a B. I guess pretty thematic for what we've had so far in our bottles.
Yeah, Oneup deciding not to go for the bomb jump. It's slightly awkward if you don't have a sword to do like the spin setup or anything, so a little bit of a time loss, but it does make sense. No progression in the Zora area. Maybe something on Zora himself.
Yeah,
to wait for some money.
Yeah, we're about like 400 rupees away on P-Train's side. 410, excuse me, away on P-Train's side. So probably, unless we end up getting some 300s, so we're probably, or some more money earlier on, it's probably not going to be a location that we're going to see anytime soon. P-Train finally does his Light World map check.
Probably going to see the Dark World one soon afterwards. But we also get our first crystal of the game, 16 minutes in. Very nice.
Super nice fast. Yeah, I was going to say, so, Moldorm certainly did cooperate with Oneup, and Hera also cooperated as well. He is 51 rupees richer.
Excellent. Alright, turns out that Turtle Rock is actually a crystal.
Oh,
that's unbelievable.
Oh man, that's good news for Oneup, of course, having that peace of mind and finding out that finding the ice rod early. But of course, being in the back of his Hoshless closet, and looks like Pod is a crystal. It doesn't look like Peach is going to miss that ice rod anytime soon.
Yeah, if Pod were to be a pendant, I might have been a little bit scared for P-Train, but I mean, with a crystal, there's no chance that he doesn't check it, I would assume. I also don't think that P-Train is going to go into Green Pendant Swamp first things first. Nah, he's just going to continue the South Loop. Probably go do that into Thieves Town or something.
I guess I'm curious to know if Oneup maybe just miscounted his items, because I thought we pulled both items out of Hera. One was the 50 rupees in the first cage basement, and then one was the green rupee on Moldorm himself.
Maybe just didn't internally track the 50 rupees in the basement.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. It's certainly very possible, because it's not often you get to you go pick up something that's like 50 rupees laying on the ground.
Yeah, slightly awkward, but it happens. It's easy to. Yeah, he had to do a double take on that one.
All right. You know what? He does get an early break, right? Getting a crystal at 16 minutes is certainly quite hard work. Oh no! Did he get? I guess he must have gotten sniped early. I'm not sure if he got frame rolled or not. But
I think he got tech tagged. Yeah, the red tech tag.
And it's so awkward.
Those are 2 hearts of damage. Those are pretty dangerous.
Everything on Death Mountain, it's almost as if they expected you to have more than 4 hearts coming up here.
Yeah, it's almost as if you can't come to this side of the mountain without hammer or hookshot.
Oh man, of course you would rather, well, I'm not sure what you'd rather come up here at this point with. Hammer, we did see that didn't really help all that much. But hookshots don't do anything to Tektites either. Luckily though, what looks like Oneup does have enough hearts just to survive Spiral Cave. This is also another benefit to why we would like a sword sooner rather than later.
Oh, I'm so scared for him. Okay, yeah, sure. Burnout. That works.
That
Okay.
is a good decision. Dying. So right. Oneup already kind of used his fairy, so death warping on the overworld is not a good idea.
Alright, we made it through. That's all that's important. There's hearts here. It's all good. Okay, powder check. Turns out to be a piece of heart. That works.
Yeah.
Got his 8th heart. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say we see quite the differential in terms of health here between P-Train and Oneup.
Oh, with that book, I can see Oneup just going into Agina and Desert at this point as well before heading over to Ice Rod Cave. So the Moon Pearl might be a bit later for Oneup at this rate.
That's pretty good dodging on Oneup's side as well, getting through all these mini Moldorms.
I got a first green 20 here of the game, I think. That might be
Oneup.
one of the bows. There's a sword, though. That's very nice.
Oh. Alright, okay, looks like Oneup is gonna choose to not go over, run over to Ether Tablet. I was kind of curious to see if he wants to do Spike. Oh no, he can't do Spike Gate because he does not have the Pearl.
Yeah, it's not usually the one item that's missing for the access, but...
Okay, Oneup looks like, yep, it's gonna try and turn in some of his fetch quests. We did pick up a mushroom in Blind Hut, gonna turn that in immediately.
Oh wow, Beatron getting a little bit bullied there as well. Alright, we're going to see Village of Outcasts as well. There's so much going on! It's so hard to keep track of everything.
It is. I mean, this is about as much divergence as we can get here, and P-Train is really just racking up the safeties. He's got, look at all this money he's got, look at all this health he's got. Unfortunately, he does not have the sword that Oneup found in the mountain. You know, that would certainly be something very helpful, I think, especially if he wants to go in to do Thieves Town. Hammer or burn a fight on blind is probably not the most preferred, especially if you compare it to having a sword.
Yeah, but with half magic and burnout, it shouldn't be like a deterrent to go in anyway. So that's very nice.
Yeah. Especially when you got the hammer, right? You know it's a fully clearable dungeon, especially with this crystal at the end. Oneup though looks like he did safe scum his mushroom. He does not know about the powder on Race Cane, so this makes a lot of sense because you never know that when you're actually going to end up probably need that extra safety, and not to mention that extra check.
Definitely. It turns out that it's not going to really matter that much, but that piece of heart was something he didn't really think he needed. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so second item in Thieves Town on P-Train's side is actually just another 50 rupees. We did see the big key, so...
I'm actually kind of surprised that Oneup decided to not go straight to Desert, but it is finishing off the South Loop. Oh wow, that mini Molar just decided to move. Wanted a new home.
Still, unfortunately, could not escape the grasp of Oneup. Eventually ended up killing him. He's going to pick up his, I guess, like, not so useful items from Mini Moldorm Cave that we saw P-Train did earlier.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, that's not good.
Well... Yeah, maybe he'll go back later. Oneup has not done the rest of the flipper checks that P-Train ended up doing, so maybe this is kind of his way over to do Desert. The Moon Pearl, not having the Moon Pearl is not going to hurt him for this particular dungeon, so maybe he'll try and combine Ice Rock Cave with the rest of the flipper checks.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just it's getting dangerously close to actually isolating the location. I guess Moon Pearl is like the least dangerous thing that could be isolated because it locks half the world, but it does make it a little bit awkward depending on whether he wants to do Eastern before Ice Rod Cave, for example.
Oh yeah, no, that's a very good point. Just because they got the mirror so early, right? And the longer that kind of P-Train is going to have that Moon Pearl, the more he's going to be able to just easily combine his Light World and Dark World loops together, and that's something that Oneup hopefully is not going to have to double back because he's going to do all the Light World stuff first and then go do the Dark World stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm definitely not saying that like the potential reasoning behind his decisions don't make sense. It's just really that nothing that he's doing now really pays off, or it's just unfortunate. Because like isolating bottle vendor that has the hook shot, it's like, well, with the weight that just because he didn't do the tree pull, he didn't have any bombs, so he had to spend money to get those bombs. Can't get the hook shot, and he probably wants to save money or like get money to be able to combine like the Zora check with Ice Rock Cave, for example, now. And
Yeah.
with all the money that we've seen in the Dark World so far, I wonder how much left in the Light World. So.
Yeah, and of course, this is one of the, I guess, disadvantages of getting flippers early is that, typically if you want Zora money, you can, kind of easily Houlihan, right, and from the entrance to drop down to the back of Escape, and with those flippers, no, sorry, with the Useless Fairy location. So he's gonna have to probably get some money another way.
Yeah, he can do it with the glove though, just go into the back of Escape and then like bomb boost himself into there. So if he really feels it's necessary, it should be no problem. But yeah, it's all a little unfortunate.
Yeah, and the fact that they just picked up so much progression so early, right? Wide open sea, there are probably 10 things that they're both trying to consider to do. Is like, what should be the next thing that I do? And yeah, maybe Houlihaning, maybe some of these things are just not going to be on the on the first set of the priority list.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did manage to find a lamp, it looks like, in the big chest of Thieves Town on P-Train side. So no more dark rooms. This is going to be pretty convenient, at least. They're going to be able to see what's in Pod Basement, Meyer Basement. Going to be definitely much more convenient.
Yeah, probably makes the incentive to go over to Pod a lot easier. Especially without the sword. Probably it's a pretty big deterrent to not go into the dark rooms without a sword or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. But of course, with that lamp now, we do have logical access up to the mountain. That is also could be another location, where P-Train would consider doing. Yeah, unfortunately, without that sword, though, we are not going to be able to get to the back of Skull Woods, which just looks like where P-Train is going. He can do the front, of course, but with that sword, that's going to be assuming Oneup does find the Moon Pearls soon. This is going to be something that he's going to be able to do that P-Train cannot.
Oneup had a really solid first cycle with his bow ammo, but
nice. This is it's always a really nice treat to see NMG runners do bow ammo and rando, just because they get to kind of, I would say it's almost like a nice display of execution, right?
Yeah, for sure. You don't get to see it that often because usually we do have something like the fire rod or a better sword. Okay, so big key in a vanilla spot for P-Train. He's probably just going to do the front, just like combine it like an overworld check in that sense. Because it is a pendant, so there's no real incentive to go to the back anyway.
Yeah, that's right. We do have our, thanks to our tracker, Demon's Druid, doing all of the button clicking behind the scenes, keeping us honest, doing a really nice job of marking all of the crystal prizes. And
P-Train, you show off.
Yeah. We do see P-Train putting those boosts to his advantage. Doesn't even need to waste any bombs or health in order to get back to the big chest.
Only keys in the front so far. Alright, does look like Oneup is going to maybe go back to Ice Road Cave now, maybe just doing the Zora checks, who knows?
Yeah.
Warp getting away from him.
Swimming, as you might have experienced, Ari, is one of the most difficult mechanics in this game, in my opinion.
Yep. That's definitely true. Okay. So, for P-Train, there is one item in the back of Skullwoods.
Alright. Oneup, unfortunately, also does not have enough money in order to get to purchase anything off of Zora, so most likely he's going to take a peek, and hopefully he can take his roll pull back and then do Ice Rock Cave, because we know that is where his Moon Pearl is sitting.
Yeah, and does look like he's doing that.
Yeah, and at some point, it would be really swell if he goes over to Kakariko and pays off the bottle vendor.
Yeah, I would assume that's on the menu. Like, unless he did mark it off, but Like I don't know like if he tracks locations and whether or not he like pre-marks stuff already.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I guess I'm not actually sure if how much Oneup knows in order to get past Moldrum 2 up in GT. But if for whatever reason he doesn't end up getting the hook shot, and he knows how to how to hover the gap, or he knows how to Moldrum bounce, hopefully it won't be the end of the world. I assume the hook shot itself doesn't actually hard lock anything.
Yeah, exactly. And even though it's probably only going to be the back of Swamp, that would be like a hard lock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if Oneup can hover, but if you can, then stuff like Hookshot Cave and stuff shouldn't be a huge problem.
That's right. We do have Hookshot Cave as well.
Okay, we get confirmation that Oneup can hover just fine, so it would just be Swamp Palace.
Okay.
So, but even then, it is a nice item to have, even if just for safety. Okay, and
Alright, so Oneup finally in the Dark World for real this time. I'm gonna pick up his essentially his only item worth of note here in Hype Cave, which is half magic. And then P-Train, where are you going, sir? Looks like after his boots checks, he is probably going to check what's on Lumberjack. I think it was just a part piece, I want to say, and then probably gonna get his goodies off the mountain.
Yeah, that would be my expectation as well. Not going to bot just yet then, but he's going to get his sword, which makes Helma probably a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, that's right. We with those boots, we can arm spin speed. We can, and the fighter sword hitbox is definitely nicer than the hammer hitbox, despite it not being, quite as good as like the master sword hitbox.
Yeah, so it's going to get a little technical, probably not really relevant, but it just offsets the hitbox. It doesn't actually gain like the fighter or master sword hitbox. So even if you don't have a sword, if you like hook speed with the hook shot,
okay.
you still get like the spin speed hitbox with the hammer.
Oh, nice. Okay, that is good knowledge to know. So so it doesn't actually matter if you like what weapon you have, right? Whether it's a master sword or fighter sword.
Yeah,
or...
correct.
Oh, nice.
Oh, the slide
Yeah, no, that is definitely really good information.
Alright, so this climb is probably going to be a little bit faster on P-Train's side, just because he has the hook shot. He'll be able to hook like the Hera plot, get both items real quick in Hera, then do the east side of Duck Mountain, hopefully without incidents.
Yeah, the fact that P-Train is coming up here with twice as much health as Oneup did before, and he still does have his fairy in a bottle, so hopefully should be pretty safe.
Yeah, at this point we'll probably just cover each other's tracks. I don't think we'll see a lot of each other's, like a lot of different locations at this rate.
We did see P-Train showing a little bit more divergence. He did pick up the fourth bottle, unlike Oneup. Oneup, though, he has shown that he only needs 4 hearts to do pretty much anything. Doesn't even bother picking up that extra heart container from the game.
I mean, yeah, if you're confident, then that's a good thing.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to see Hera pot on P-Train's side. And Oneup did spy that powder on Grace Game, so it looks like he is going to go back for it. We know, of course, it was just a piece of heart when P-Train ended up checking it, but Oneup doesn't know that.
Okay, P-Train.
Is Peter having a little trouble getting into the pot?
Yeah. Oh no. The longer it takes, the more frustrating it gets.
Yeah.
Okay, we got there.
Yeah, at least with boots, it's you've got pretty much infinite tries, right? Unlike the bomb setup where every single bomb that you end up spending is going to be another heart of health and another bomb loss.
Okay, that's an extra fairy just for double the safety.
Yeah, hopefully P-Train is counting his items. We did see him skip the 50 rupees in the basement, slightly different than Oneup because Oneup was probably kind of lacking some more money, unlike P-Train, who has almost 1,000 rupees at this point. And once he sees a green item or green rupee on Moldrum, hopefully he will just get out of the dungeon and make his way over to East Death Mountain.
Yeah, that would be the assumption.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, looks like it's gonna be the same hammer fight as well on P-Train's side.
Okay, we need to also take a quick look at whether or not Oneup gets his hook shot at this rate.
Oh, this is gonna be important. Looks like
Look,
he's going
is
back.
Right there we go. All right,
Nice.
that's probably not a great feel, but I think he also realizes that he didn't miss out on much at this rate.
Yeah. It's probably at this point just relief anything, you know, that he's glad that he went back and got it. Because, you know, it might just be more, like, the longer it takes, right, like, the more feels bad it could be.
Mm-hmm. But it probably was like, okay, at least it wasn't mids, or at least it wasn't a sword.
Yeah. Oh, look at that nice dash that Oneup was able to do with that sword. All through those bushes, not even any lag either.
Yeah, Thieves Town is probably going to be a lot more comfortable as well, just being able to dash without having to avoid enemies.
Yeah. I think for what it's worth, I did see P-Train also do, I think he dashed through that hallway pretty well, I think, despite the fact he didn't have a sword. So certainly, you know, Oneup's gonna have, as you said, a bit more confidence going through there. Yeah, you see P-Train very, very confident with this like 7 cards going through and jumping down through Spiral Cave.
Yeah, having the hookshot definitely helps too, though. Like, just having a weapon that's reusable, no ammo, pretty fast as well, unless you miss the enemy, then it feels like forever. Alright, so after this, P-Train is probably going to show us some new locations, maybe even with that book. I guess might just go to desert, follow Oneup even more. Maybe it does show us Ether Tablet. Who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna be curious because you know, so unlike Oneup, P-Train does have the Moon Pearl that is up here. He's got Cane of Burning. He's got half magic. He's gonna pick up his cape pretty shortly. So are we gonna see Spike Cape check maybe in addition?
Maybe,
because that might be more tempting to combine it with Ether Tablet.
Yeah, I can see that as well. And then maybe after that, go into like the Dark World, Fire Swamp, check Bombbox Tablet into Desert. Would be a nice combination as well. But nope, we're no Death Mountain at least.
Yeah, and you know, they have like 50 different things that they could do, right? And it's right now it's just a matter of what you think is going to be the most worth your time. This looks like that book is out on P-Train's Y item, so maybe this is going to be a foray into desert.
No Bombbox Tablet though. Kind of surprising. Maybe wants to combine it with Smith Chain. Maybe just wants to at least have the Master Sword. Make sure he doesn't need to come back for it if there is something on there.
That's a very good point, Ari. We only have the Fighter Sword, so we can read and see what's on the tablet, but we cannot actually get the prize.
Which debatably is slower, debatably is faster. It all depends on what's on there.
Yes, that's right. Well, we already know that there can't be a bottle on these tablets because we already picked up all 4.
Imagine that. I think the worst feeling for there to be on a tablet is a sword. It's like,
oh yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna need another one to get that one, which might not even be faster at that rate.
I know, and this is also a good point, right? If you need a sword to get a sword, you know, where are you actually going to go back? Because there are 4 swords in the pool. We do have one of them. We are only, of course, capped at tempered, so the 4th sword, you know, by the time maybe we get a chance to get back there, it might just be a green 20.
Yeah, I think it really depends on how far I'm in the seed at that point. Like, if I've already done stuff like Colster and Vidi, then I might just wait until after Ganon's Tower. But even then, it's like a very minimal time save, and I think it would just be more about the confidence for the runners rather than the actual time loss or save that either Master or Tempered would be.
I don't know. This is definitely a good point. If I, you know, the fact that they have 4 bottles means that they are basically, you know, they can load themselves with however many safeties they want. But you know, still, if you can get a temper sword on your hands to go fight Ganon, that's probably more preferable.
Oh yeah,
just
for
in terms
sure.
of comfort to beat Ganon.
Yeah. A lot less variance as well in Tempered Ganon. Like, a guaranteed 1-on-1 versus depending on what pattern you get on Master Sword, the fight can go like wholly different. Alright, I'm kind of curious as to what Oneup is going to do. Might also do the front of Skullwitz after Thieves Town. Maybe just builds out of doing whatever overworld check and goes straight to pod. Wouldn't surprise me at this rate. Especially after finding the land.
Oh yeah, that's true. One up! Oh no! Does he have a fairy?
I don't think so.
Oh no, that is really unfortunate because so one up, even though he did have 2 hearts of health, Blind's head, unfortunately, just like that pink Zizak that we have an incredible amount of annoyance for from the NMG days, does 2 hearts of damage, and it looks like he just got sniped. I don't even think he was expected, of course, to get hit. Didn't even have a chance to activate Burna.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Yeah, sometimes the fight just gets a little bit away from you, and you think you can just get the last hit in, and then, yeah. Hubris overtakes you for a little bit.
Yeah, and yep, Oneup taking no chances this time around, just because, so, as we've all, experienced in NMG, if you end up dying to Blind the first time around, it is no longer a scripted fight. He even starts even slightly higher, I think, than normally what you might expect. So the fight is definitely much more reactive, and it's really, really nice to be able to have an invincibility item to take him down.
Yeah. So, execution-wise, Oneup having a little bit of trouble this seed, but I actually don't think he's in that bad of a shape still. Dying to Blind doesn't actually cost that much time, because it's not like that deep into the dungeon.
Yep.
So it's mostly getting back. So, depending on what he does now, like he might be able to skip a little bit of overworld, go straight to the next dungeon, like either pod or swamp, and I can see him still being in good shape.
Yeah, and the fact that he also did have a boost, if he was able to dash over, back as opposed to like walking, also definitely helps him save a bit of time. But yeah, as you said, Ari, like if you're gonna die to any boss, Blind is probably a pretty good candidate.
Yeah, as long as you have some safety to not die the second time. I guess like with Burna, it's definitely not as bad. If you just have like a couple of hearts and only a sword, then it feels a lot worse. But yeah, it does look like Oneup is still playing a little bit safe, like just standard, keeping up with the rest of the dungeon checks that are close by. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. It's just I think this is good, at least for Oneup side. It looks like at least mentally, his head is still very much in the game, right? He's not kind of letting these setbacks, kind of affect his gameplay. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I can imagine that's still the case. Yeah.
You were saying something about P-Train?
Yeah, going to pod. I think it's the logical, reasonable decision, being able to get his ice rod now as well. There probably would be a couple people that think, well, swamp is accessible. It's been accessible for like almost the entire game. Like progression, like myths or food have to be in there. But I don't know. I think pod is just as juicy, personally.
Pod does have the advantage of being a fully clearable, logically accessible dungeon.
And a crystal.
And a crystal, that's right. P-Train also demonstrating sometimes that you have to kind of get Kiki back and be more convincing in order to get him to follow you after mirroring back from the light world, because those iframes may not always be to your advantage.
Yeah, definitely have to. Yeah, okay, I guess Oneup has to go back, get his key from the big chest. I wonder if he decides to go to the back for the last item. Oh, he's too hard again. He's not feeling good.
No, he does have the bug net. I think he does have the powder, and he is taking his last bit of health to be able to come over here in order to get the. Yeah. That is actually a very wise decision. You don't often see death warping, once people have the mirror, but this is definitely a good opportunity to regain his health.
Oh, P-Train, you swagger!
This is a very, very difficult helper in order to execute. P-Train,
so
P-Train gets it.
So good. It's so much faster too. It's actually like almost like 20-30 seconds of time save.
What? Oh, really? Wow,
Yeah.
that is quite a bit.
Maybe more closer to 20, but it's significant. That's actually that's good.
It is worthwhile to point out that the winner of Oneup versus P-Train is going to face Dante in the as the next round opponent. So it is probably going to be worthwhile on both these runners' times to kind of practice up their boots tech.
Yeah, it would be pretty interesting to see P-Train versus Dante because it's like both the council leaders up against each other.
Yeah.
Would be nice to see.
And we're and especially you slap some boots on their feet, right? We're gonna see a pretty cool pod.
Oh yeah.
All right, so it looks like we did get a pedestal check on Oneup side. At this point, it does not look like they're going to have any need for the 300 rupees that's going to sit up there. So onwards we go.
Second item in Skullwood's also nothing, so that's a little bit of a shame for Oneup side. And we'll have to see what he decides to do next. Oh, it goes back into the West Dark World. Maybe do the rest of the overworld checks like King's Tomb, Graveyard Ledge. Maybe swims over to Catfish afterwards.
Yeah, that was actually going to be, another question. It looks like P-Train at least opted to not do Catfish after he did Graveyard Ledge, but maybe that is going to be something for a Onup's consideration.
And that Zora is still hanging
Yeah,
out there.
it is. And that's been available, since, I don't know, like check 3 or something like that, after they picked up the flippers.
Mm-hmm.
I guess at least for what it's worth, the second item in the back of Skull Woods was not on Mothula, so at least it was a slightly faster check with that mirror, right? They didn't have to go kill Mothula.
For sure. And at least it's not in the back of their mind anymore. Like, P-Train might be thinking, well, there's still this one item in Skull Woods that it wasn't able to get to because I didn't have a sword. Potentially.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think maybe from a, even correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, maybe from a runner's perspective, it just doesn't feel good when you know that you got, starting to get these like 1 or 2 kind of isolated locations and then you start to kind of second guess yourself.
Yeah, at that point you're like, well, should I just grab a couple of coins, start flipping them, and just hope that the one I pick will be right?
Well, hopefully some, yeah. All right, so did we find anything interesting in Pod so far?
Lots of health.
Okay, all right. So, that could be good, right? We are in Green Mail, although, coming in to fight Helmasaur, you're probably like 4 or, 3 hearts, more than probably what you're accustomed to in energy. So, and P-Train's got 2 fairies, I think, after he caught them in Hera, so he's probably not in danger of dying at this point.
P-Train will be A-okay. Also still has the Spin Speed Helma tech accessible, so that makes the fight a lot easier. I'm pretty sure that P-Train at this rate is mostly thinking what he's gonna do next, because, well, there's a couple of overworld checks, still Pyramid Catfish. But yeah, it does look like that Swamp Palace is looming. But maybe Eastern as well. Like
I was curious. Like, Eastern is just right here, right? It's another Sphere 1 location where there are 3 items available. And you're probably not going to get any closer than you are now after you finish Pod. So.
Yeah, it's a little easier to delay stuff like Eastern if you have the flute, but without it, like, you're here right now, so it probably makes sense to do it. Unless you think that maybe opponent did it really early and decides that, well, if my opponent did it, I'd lost anyway, so I'm not gonna do it. Ooh, that combo check might be...
Yeah, that is very interesting. So we do have Meyer and Turtle Rock as pendants, so we're definitely need at least 1 medallion. We do have Fire Rod, so not required for Ice Palace, of course. Oneup finally going to give us a check at 48 minutes what we could have bought off of King Zora with 500 rupees, provided we had the cash initially to begin with.
It's probably going to be free bombs after we hyped it up for the entire seed.
Or 10 arrows, or a heart piece, man.
Okay, Pyramid is slightly isolated for Oneup now. Pyramid Fairy Crystals, Ice, and Thieves. Okay, so might be able to combine that later.
You know, and speaking of which, right? So we had so much stuff, basically within like the 15-minute mark, and I'm not actually sure how much more progression we picked up since then. Right?
Not a
We
whole
still don't
lot.
have. Yeah, we still don't have mitts. We still don't have a flute. I guess we did pick up a medallion on Oneup side.
Yeah, it's Dark World has been pretty bare bones, but that was probably a little bit the expectation. Like either it was going to be very straightforward in like the early dungeons, or we would just converge in something like Eastern or Swamp. And then like I'm not like I would expect the next progression to just be mitts, and then having to do a little bit of a crash shoot for like Kane and the flute.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely a good point. I mean, yeah, so most likely, you know, I guess we would like to have, you know, maybe a little bit, you know, an item that gives us, I guess, like that's makes the world slightly less open to us. But yeah, most likely mitts is probably going to be the next thing, as you said, and we're going to kind of scour the world again after that.
Yeah, the worst part would probably be if like one out of the way location has the mitts and the other one has Samaria or flute, and then you do all the mitts checks because you're like, okay, well this unlocks the rest. And then it turns out that like your opponent did find flute or Samaria first and then finds mitts later and has an easier time. So all those things that go through your mind during the race, like, okay, what did my opponent do? Okay, in what order did they find things? Oh, they probably were way luckier. Okay, P-Train is just skipping
he
the key.
is. Yep. So we found a blue rupee and 3 bombs as our 2 items so far, as well as the map. So it looks like he is going to gamble and go get Armos.
Okay, well, he doesn't know that there was nothing on the pedestal, so I guess it kind of makes sense. I think it's pretty greedy, though, for a pendant dungeon to just go straight to Armos over the vanilla big key. But, yeah, okay. I guess Pet is just open, so he might just be considering, well, I'm just gonna do Swamp after this, and then Skullwits after this, and I'm just gonna blind pull. It's not too outrageous, I suppose.
You know, and that's just a consequence of his sequencing, right? He didn't have a sword when he was in back the Skullwoods, and therefore it wasn't really going to be convenient for him to go check the pedestal. So, setting up a good kill. He gets literally paid off with a rupee hoard. Actually, coincidentally, the same prize as he would if he actually pulled a pedestal.
It's just a down payment, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So his gamble in this case did pay off. He took the 50-50 coin, flipped it, and it came out in his favor. He does not have to. He got to save himself a whole minute, basically by skipping the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, pretty lucky, I would say. But hey, so sometimes you just got to go for it.
He just needs 1 more rupee to his name. Can you just pick up 1 more rupee? Thanks, P-Train.
He is going to maybe spend some money, actually, if he wants a bottle. So, we haven't seen either of the tablets. We haven't seen Spy Cave. We haven't seen Swamp. And Pyramid? I think that's it at this point. Yep. It's all really awkward locations, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there goes our dream of 1337 rupees.
Thanks, P-Train. Can you go pick up? Maybe P-Train will humor us and pull the pedestal too.
Okay, yeah, then we are going to 1476.
Yes. All right, so looks like maybe we're gonna take a South Dark World. So this could be a foray into Swamp and Bumbo's tablets.
Yeah, seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Oneup is gonna make his way. Pretty much done with Pod. Just has to go back to Helmosaur, and yeah, with this much health at this point, certainly don't envision him having a much more difficult time.
No, I assume it'll be smooth sailing for him as well. Alright, I'll be curious to see what kind of routing P-Train does in here. Maybe he skips left side first, depending on whether he finds a dungeon item or not. I don't think they'll have an issue, like either of them, with like bomb diver down or something. I personally really hate those.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is going to be quite a little bit of difference between what I think NMG runners are used to in Swamp Palace versus probably more, people that are familiar with Rando. Diver down is a tech that is allowed in Rando. Certainly, probably, it sounds like it's more preferable with the Canis Maria than bombs, but certainly still very doable. Or maybe we'll just find a cane in here, right?
Yeah, that would be great. I'm sure that they will love to find all the medallions, the flute, and the cane before even catching a whiff of mitts. But I don't think they'll get to be that lucky.
Oh, we did see. Oh man! So unfortunately, P-Train when he came down to Pod Basement did not have a good turtle room. Looks like Oneup also had a little bit of trouble with some turtles that did not behave with him. But at least it gets through to Pinhelmosaur just as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the room is a lot more awkward if you do not have a Master Sword, because you actually just have to kill everything with the hammer. And it's a little awkward.
Right, you can't... Yeah, and also, like, the fact that we don't have the Master Sword, we don't have Sword Beam, so Oneup actually had to quick swap over to the Ice Rod in order to hit the switch. Another difference.
Yeah. It's all the little things that you actually have to think of beforehand already, because otherwise you're just going to be standing there quick swapping or menuing. And it's really those little things that edge out the seconds. There's one of the progression items we need.
Yeah. Finally, a blue-colored item that's worth our time.
Okay, going to the back first. Makes sense, because Argus does look very tempting with that green pendant as well. P-Train does have to be a little bit careful, especially without Tempered Sword. The back of Swamp and Argus are really rough. And especially if you're going to bomb boost yourself into the rail here.
Oh right. This is something about a health issue, right? So normally it's not too much of a concern, especially probably in almost any setting, right? That you come here, you've got a ton of health, like 10 total hearts. Nothing really does a lot of damage to you. But yeah, if you're down to 2 or 3 hearts, suddenly it actually becomes quite a bit of an issue.
Yeah, he does have 2 fairies on the boot pod, so he's not gonna die. But it is like. Getting revived is a time loss, nonetheless. Okay, Oneup also doing Eastern. Again, it's the reasonable choice. So he still probably doesn't think he's really in a position where he needs to really skip something in order to have a chance. Again, execution-wise, they are very much on an even footing.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious to see if Oneup decides to also take, did the same decision that P-Train did and decide to skip the middle of the key chest.
Right, yeah, that's a thing. P-Train has been playing it more aggressively than Oneup, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Also, not having done a couple of overhaul checks, having not done Catfish. Maybe that's the only difference.
Yeah, and no Catfish, no Zora. Yeah, we're gonna see probably at least shortly on P-Train's side. Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, all right. The fire rod takes care of phase 2 Argus. No problems. We end up picking up another medallion for our trouble. That's always nice to see.
Okay, maybe it's the Mario Kart package.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see if in this case if P-Train decides to go back in. Looks like not even a Bombos tablet check. That's also fine. He is probably going to immediately go over to Kakariko, activate his flute, and then we're gonna check out the Mire area.
With what mitts though? I'm so confused!
Oh, you're right! We don't have mitts! What is the flute unlock at this point? Where can he go?
Nothing!
You're right! No.
I get being excited for 2 progression items, but we're really looking for the hits.
That's right. You get so excited because at almost an hour in, do you think that you probably just assume you have bits by now?
I mean, we have the green pennant. We can turn that in. We have like so many. We have so many isolated locations though. Like, what is he gonna do? Like, green pennant, go into the dark world, check pyramid, catfish, Sora, and then spike cave.
And oh man, and I guess we can also read what's on either tablet.
He's gonna do skull.
Oh, he's gonna do skull as well. Well, okay, so hopefully he'll read the hopefully he'll read the pedestal first, and then he won't actually have to spend some more time killing Mocula, like what Oneup did. That would be a pretty good time save for him.
Yeah. That would be excellent. He's probably not gonna feel great though. If that's the case.
Yeah. All right, Oneup. I think based on where Oneup is now, it looks like he also did skip the vanilla big key chest.
He
did not
check it. He did check it.
Okay. Wow. He got over here much faster, if that's the case, than I expected. But also very nice quick kill on his side, just as nice on P-Train, so he claims his next pendant.
Okay, so
and his 300 rupees.
So this probably still Oneup's best shot at checking pyramid, I guess. Yeah, I think that's what he's gonna do. Okay, so we're gonna see a new location here as well.
Oh, you see Oneup just dashing under that ropa? That's so satisfying. It's really kind of risky, but he did get lottery.
It scares me every single NMG run I watch.
Yeah.
It's like always that ropa. No,
oh, B-Train. Well, this is going to be, at least good practice for the next time that P-Train decides to do NMG with, or rando with Fighter Sword Mothula.
Okay.
And this, I'm certainly, fact that the P-Train, doesn't know what's on the pedestal, it could still be, it's, very much alive for him at this point, this is very reasonable. It's just that we know, right, from a viewer's perspective that he just checks it, and we also know the last item is not on Mothula, so.
Yep. Okay, so Pyramid also just had a full heart, so we're down to left side swamp or spike cave, I think.
All right, yeah, looks like the with 6 plus the green pendant in Swamp Palace, as opposed to the one item that's accessible in Spike Cave, looks like that is where Oneup is going to go.
And I think, considering what Oneup has already checked, he'll be more incentivized to just full clear it, because he only has Spike Cave left after this, I think.
Yeah, and I think we didn't end up finding the big key in Swamp Palace. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So
no, I think you're right. We did find both dungeon items, but not the big key yet.
And we did see that Argus did not drop it, right? So assuming that Oneup does full clear the first time, this is going to be a little bit of time gained on his side.
Yeah. Oh man, this is turning out to be an actual
Yeah, hopefully, as we kind of see, Oneup has definitely not been deterred from really any of the execution setbacks. He ended up dying to blind earlier, but he is playing, as if nothing has happened, which is really good, especially from a tournament race game 3 perspective when your life is on the line.
Yeah. Oh, we also still have green pendant actually. So there is Spike Cave left side swamp green pendant, and he's just standing still. Okay.
P-Train probably meant to put one more over.
Yeah. Okay.
I am proud though of P-Train. He didn't even check pedestal, right? He just blindfolded.
Yeah.
That's how it should go when you have all 3 pendants.
That's determination.
That's right. You do see a little thing that Oneup decides to do, right? Hug that wall, just like, very similar in NMG, reduces some lag. We did see that the green pendant, unfortunately, was not worth P-Train's time. Unless, I guess, you really wanted 320 rupees for the pedestal and the turn-in. But looks like we're going back into left side swamp. After all this area, we have convergence. Oh, man.
Turns out that left side swamp is empty. It's gonna be Spike Cave.
Oh, man. Oh, dude, Eric!
That's Spike Cave. That
would be...
Wait, where are we going? Oh, we haven't seen Pyramid.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. He's just gonna do Pyramid Catfish. Oh, Oneup's gonna take the lead at this rate. Oh, that's awkward. I mean, I can't blame P-Train for like anything he's doing right now. Maybe the Moth kill. Like, I think that's a little greedy. Personally, but like everything he's doing now, you leave left side swamp, you're not gonna come back there until it's the last thing you do, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's just really unfortunate because everything, like most of the things he did, worked out. And
he definitely took a very early lead.
I personally don't think there's a whole reason to start being greedy all of a sudden. Oh, nice lottery.
Yeah, just like that. You know, Oneup I think won the Ropa lottery. You know, in this matchup, right? He managed to dash under and not get hit. And P-Train, remember, he still does not miss at 1 hour and 4 minutes in, and can't. And then you get lottery to auto-split Catfish. All right, we're seeing Oneup making left side swamp his priority his first time into Swamp Palace. So what are we gonna get? Not what we're looking for quite yet.
Okay, so maybe it is good that he's doing Catfish now because it did have bombos. I did forget about that, but
the suspense is building. So Oneup, we know that the big key could have been locked inside the big chest, but we did end up seeing it, and it's been in a location today on Oneup's side. Moment of truth. What are we gonna get? Is it gonna be Mitz?
100%. Yeah, there we go.
100%. Nice call. All right, left side swamp, 100% required. Oh, all right, and we're just at this point waiting for P-Train to come back.
Well, Spike Cave next.
That is, yeah, man. I guess P-Train is really committed to not going back to left side swamp until, I guess it is his absolute last location.
Yeah. And sadly, it makes sense. It's just really unfortunate. It really felt like P-Train was in the driver's seat for 60% of the seat. But Oneup definitely being thorough and not letting his unfortunate dash deter him from just being thorough is I would say he has the advantage at this rate. Unless there's like something right here. If Samaria is here, then sure. Sure.
Oh man, yeah, no, that's definitely a good point. We're still actually we are still missing Kata Samaria. We are not missing 300 rupees. P-Train's already had his fill from the pedestal and Armos at this point. You know, and also kind of unfortunate on Oneup's side, right? It's like P-Train came up here and did this fight with Fire Sword. Oneup came up here a little bit later and still doesn't have any better equipment to take down Argus.
Yeah, Death Mount's sword is the only one we haven't found yet.
Yeah, after all of this, no second sword. Where are these swords? Is it actually on the tablet at this point?
There's all these myths locations we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm going to expect a quick check of what medallions we need. I can see either of them doing Ice Pass, but I guess they might want to wait with Ice Pass until they find Kane, even though Kane is probably their go mode item. Like, this entire seat has been nothing but awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, it's even especially early on. It's not even necessarily the item placements, right? We were just so short of money. Like we couldn't even afford Bottle Bender on Oneup's side.
Yeah. All right, literal last.
Oh, okay. Looks like Oneup's diving Ice Palace, maybe.
Yeah, does look like it. Makes sense. It's close. It's a Pyramid Fairy Crystal. Might want to just combine all that. Yeah.
Such bullying from the overworld already. I was gonna say, you know, Oneup would probably like to have Sword Beams for Ice Palace as of any NMG player, but we don't even have the Master Sword at this point, so I guess Fire Rod is gonna have to make do as a proxy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Ice shouldn't be a big problem. I mean, if they really want to conserve magic, they can use Bombos for Cold Stir and then fire out the rest, but like with half magic, it's cold start shouldn't be a huge issue. Yeah, considering their knowledge as an MG runner, IPBJ shouldn't be a problem either. No icebreaker from Oneup this time.
Oh yeah, that's true. Unless of course the cane is right here.
Nope.
Nope. So sad. It was red, I guess, but probably not the curvy red thing that they wanted to see.
It was close though.
Yeah. All right. P-Train slowly making its way back over to left side swamp. Unfortunately, this is one of the few dungeons where I think the boosts really even don't give you that much more of an advantage, right? I think dashing on the water, correct me if I'm wrong, area is actually only 3 pixels per second.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
It's still a lot better than walking, but
yeah, but
it's not great.
Yeah, and there's also not even like that many, you know, like hallways you can really, you know, like dash through. There's just a lot of like short places that. Yeah. Oneup, getting to the conveyor room. Also, another place you would really like to see sword beams with. What? Oh.
Okay.
Are we seeing some boost tech on Oneup's side as well?
Maybe Oneup heard through the grapevine. Yeah, P-Train has been swagging with his boots the entire seed. You gotta up your game.
That's right. Yeah, missed his opportunity in pod, right? And so you know, you gotta make up for it somewhere.
All right, P-Train, what's your decision? I mean, if it's not an ice and P-Train finds Kane elsewhere, that's gonna be a solid time gain.
Yeah. What does he want to do? It looks like, yep. I was curious because P-Train does have his flute activated, right? So he is able to go over to the mine area. Oh, but looks like he wants to make a quick check onto Bongo's tablets.
Oh, now all of a sudden, the lack of tablet checks has been a bit mysterious to me. I think just knowing whether or not you're going to you're in go mode once you find a sword is very reasonable. But it's not in this tablet.
Actually, speaking of tablet checks, when P-Train did Spike Cave, did he check either tablet?
Nope. That's why I was so confused.
Oh.
All right, we're going to see whether we need to find Quake. Yep. All right.
We are. All right. You know, okay. It's certainly not unheard of course, for these medallions to be run right under the doormat of these places, like in Mire Shed or maybe Checkerboard Cave. Not today.
There is a unique item in Mire Shed. This has been quite the see. I'm loving it.
It is. Jeez. I mean, you know, it's it may or may not have been, you know, somewhat. Well, you know, when you get midst this late, I guess maybe it's to be expected that eventually things will converge. But yeah, the trek to get to the midst though has been quite the adventure. Not to mention the stuff leading after the midst as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess just the Death Mountain check, see if we also need Quake for Turtle Rock. It's either that or Smith Chain that would be reasonable. Like, I think if you're not going to do ice immediately, you're gonna just wait. We'll see soon enough, I guess.
And we see Oneup's muscle memory in that room kind of getting to him. Realizing he doesn't actually need to kill both Greenswords in order to, because he's already got the chest. It looks like there's. I don't think we found anything though in Ice Palace in terms of progression so far. So presumably the last item is going to be on Cold Stair.
I think we saw the full heart and a couple of bombs.
Yeah. That's right. All right. Yep. With half magic. It looks like Oneup is going to actually opt to use Bomb Post. It certainly is a bit slower in order to break off the shell, but you know, we're on Fighter Sword with the hammer. We've got a ton of magic. I think you mentioned something about just being able to spam the fire rod with half magic.
Yeah, it seems pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we did find the last item somewhere else.
Okay. I guess, like, is there a preference for? Is it like only just a preference for runners if they try and bunch up Cold Stare on the left versus the right corner area?
To me, it feels like if they're on the left side, they get like splash damage more easily from the fire rod.
Okay.
I'm not
okay.
sure if it's confirmed or not, but it really just feels that way to me.
Okay, that is good information to know.
What's this route? Oh, this is a fast way to get to the flute activation.
Yeah, this is oh yeah, you
That's
know, we're showing off some of our energy levels swimming. And hook speed out of this place.
With the mirror transition, I'm not 100% sure if it's faster than just saving quitting to sank, but it should be close. It should be real close.
Alright, so we are going to get a peek over at Meyer on Oneup side. So he is going to get the... I'm not sure if it's good or bad news, but he's going to get the news that is going to be Quake required for Misery Meyer entrance. But he is definitely going to check Meyer Shen and presumably Checkerboard Cave, and then maybe he will presumably join P-Train up on the mountain after this.
Yeah. If also for Oneup, for him, it's also just going to be that or Smith Chain, I think. That's unlocked right now.
Right, yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, we have Smith Chain, we do have Hammer Pegs in a pretty close conjunction to Smith Chain. Not sure if you actually consider that to be part of Smith Chain or not.
Yeah, I kind of just lumped that together in those 3 checks. But that's good to clarify for sure. Yeah, and then there's East of Mountain. Oneup also hasn't checked Spike Cave yet, so maybe wants to do that after.
Oh right, yeah, that's right. And I think we still the Ether tablet contents are still a mystery, at least from our perspective.
Maybe you can also see Pyramid Fairy. Actually, we haven't seen that yet.
Oh right.
Oneup did unlock that.
We have so many opportunities or so many more coin flips at this point.
Yeah,
Again.
for sure. I actually think it's pretty reasonable to, like, if you're going to commit to Caneless Eyes, to also just see if you get anything from afterward. Because it's like, yeah, but just checking the dense locations like Death Mountain are like I don't think there's bad decisions at this point. It's just now you're just gathering information, see if you need to come back to Turtle Rock if you have the cane. Because it's not Quake, for example. Maybe find Quake in there. Yeah, it's just flipping coins, I suppose.
Yeah, so actually at this point for our go mode, we are going to need another sword, and we're going to need Quake for sure, but then in terms of other items, we just need the Canis Maria?
Yeah.
Okay, so the hope is, of course, we're going to find Quake before King. And then where these swords, we're gonna have to hope. Maybe there'll be like 3 of them in GT or something.
Yeah, pretty big chance of that at this rate. Oh,
hey, all right. At an hour later, we get our second sword.
Okay.
Okay, can we get into Turtle Rock? We can.
Catfish was necessary.
Yes. Yeah. So right, we can get in. We can open up Turtle Rock. We cannot actually still do anything. The hope, of course, we're gonna find Quake relatively soon. Maybe Quake will just be on either tablet, and then Oneup will be, super happy.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's another thing that was a setback on Oneup side too, right? He ended up doing an extra Hera basement for nothing.
Yeah.
Or for a map. Yeah, he's definitely really come back from a lot of this stuff.
And he just stuck to his game plan nonetheless.
Yeah. No, this has been really great. Showing on Oneup side, both like execution and mentally.
Yeah. Alright, grabbing another 300 rupees from Spike Cave.
Yeah, this is, of course, not, I certainly, like once Spike Cave, has been in MVP location, for this tournament, not today, although it probably would have been nice to have the 300 rupees you know, towards the beginning of the seed versus the versus now.
Yeah, it's a huge contrast. So I guess just Smith Chain and Pyramid Fairy. Going to be interesting which one of picks right now. Yeah, it looks like Smith Chain. Okay. Kind of makes sense. They'll be able to combine Purple Chest. No, not really. I guess if you just flute to 7, you're not really going to be able to combine that with Pyramid Fairy real quick. But it's a couple fast checks right now, especially with flute and mirror.
Yeah, mirror being the first check that we found inside our house certainly is really nice. One of the probably least desirable fetch quest chains that you want to do the overworld is this without the mirror. Another, of course, satisfying thing, courtesy of the Japanese 1.0 version, we get to item dash, so we see some pretty satisfying dashes on one upside with that hammer. Also important to note that we need a sword to do this. We at least found Arcane.
Yeah, alright. What's the decision now? Do we still do Purple Chest or not? Probably, right? It's so quick.
I guess, yeah, we're right here, right? You know, if Quake is here, you know, we can just float over to Mystery Mire and do that, and then just make one more trip up the mountain. Other than that, we're probably gonna pay a visit to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I would assume so, just because it's 5 items that you're probably going to be getting anyway. 6 with Mimic Cave. Full clearing Turtle Rock is only a little bit slower than go moding it. The extra climb is going to hurt a little bit, but it's 6 items to 2 from Pyramid Fairy. He hasn't checked Bombo Tablet yet, I suppose, so he doesn't know about that. But... oh, wow, that's nice.
Yeah, no, that is a really nice find. It's going to, you know, they even haven't beaten Vitreous, right? They haven't beaten Trinex, 2 really nice bosses to have a Temper Sword for.
Yeah, that's a huge boon to get. Very nice check. Oh, the Dead Rock.
Yeah. Dead Rocks don't care what sword you have, don't care what shield you have, don't care how much health you have. They're just gonna get in your way regardless.
They definitely care about the pace you're at.
Now, so I guess I'm curious, Ari. So you are 1 item from Go mode. Assuming you haven't found your item Go mode yet, by the time you hit Mimic Cave versus the big chest. Do you have a preference for which one you check first?
I'll just do Mimic Cave first. I just always assume that the item is not going to be there, so I just want to be as efficient as possible for not finding the item I need. Makes complete sense, right?
No, I mean, you know, so it does. I think it's actually very reasonable.
There's going to be X amount of locations, and only one of those is going to have my Go mode item. So it's always going to be the last one.
That's right. Yeah, and I think you know, I think Ak actually also said that Mimic Cave is guaranteed to be an item. You know, your Go mode item, whereas the big chest may or may not be. Right, could be a dungeon item.
Yeah, could be a key, could be map compass. So I think it's very reasonable to just go for the guaranteed item, even if it's not necessarily. It's a time loss compared to when it's in the big chest.
Mm-hmm. All right, Oneup making his way through Turtle Rock. So hopefully we're gonna see. I mean, we do have to full clear this dungeon one way or another. Sorry, we have to clear this dungeon one way or another because it's a crystal. But hopefully, if we find Quake earlier, that means that we can go mode the rest of this, and then not have to make any decisions about Mimic Cave versus Big Chest.
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? Oh, never mind. Okay. Well. Let's go mode then.
Yeah, that's so 1 hour 23 minutes. Good thing, you know, we found all 3 medallions. We have everything that we need in order to beat the game. Oneup can comfortably make his way through Turtle Rock. Although maybe comfort is too soon because we're facing Chops. Oh, that was a nice room though.
Yeah, very nice jumps. Alright, so we do have an update on the situation with B-Train. He lost power, that's why he disconnected, and B-Train and Oneup have talked it out after B-Train forfeited, and they have decided to mutually forfeit and redo the race at a later date.
It's really unfortunate. I mean, what happened to V-Train when he lost power? But you know, Game 4 is gonna just be as exciting as Game 3 was before everything.
Who said that at the start of the race? I saw a comment in chat about a Game 4 hype, and I can't believe that you've jinxed V-Train.
Hey, looks like I guess we have P-Train's feedback. I guess for what it's worth. I guess I'm not sure like how much more of the feed I guess we're gonna see from these runners. I don't know if Oneup ended up is going to finish this feed or not. I guess maybe we can just keep watching until something happens.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. Although, you know, Oneup is demonstrating some pretty good NMG execution, right? Being able to keep sword beams for Crystal Roller Room, being able to use those to hit the switch as opposed to like Canis Mario blocks. Yeah, looks like P-Train though got his Canis Mario. Gonna need to see a couple more quick swaps or a menu on his side in order to kind of see how much more progress he's made. Because I mean, it's the fact that it looks like he did not do purple chest because he's only still on Fighter Sword, and we are gonna at least see him pick up a Master Sword from Hookshot Cave, provided that he goes there first.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look like no finished eyes. I think he did just find Kane before the power outage, maybe?
Okay.
And then went back and did find Kane again, then goes to Turok. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, it's going to be a significant time loss, having to not only like lose the time from the power outage, but also go back to your last save and quit.
This is such a comfy Trinex fight with a Tempered Sword.
Yeah, imagine. That's just being able to do the thing that you're used to doing.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Oneup normally does the backdoor stress, but looks like he decided at least to kind of wait for the heist to come to him versus him going to it, but also really nice space too. So with that last crystal catch, are we headed off to GT? Maybe?
No, we first need Minor.
Oh right! Yeah.
Maybe.
Good reminder. Good reminder. Yeah, we're definitely not on our last crystal catch. We are on our 6th crystal catch.
Peter, I've forgotten which chest the Master Sword was. I guess at this point you're just a little flustered.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's very, very understandable, given everything that's happened.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh man, that Murder Dactyl was not friendly to Oneup. Unfortunately, not gonna have sword beams for the second room Mire. We do have half magic though, and the fire rods and boots, so it certainly can be a proxy. But still, would be really nice again to just kind of do something that you're used to.
Yeah, for sure. And in the worst case scenario, it's very nice to quick swap to the hookshot, by the way. It's a little bit faster than bonking over the gap, but it's just so ingrained in the muscle memory to just, you know, realizing that it's really hard to realize that you don't have the menu. I can just quick swap and in a little bit of time.
Yeah,
But
definitely something.
In the worst case scenario, you can always just cape at Vidi, and even though it's maybe a little bit slower, it's a pretty guaranteed way to not die.
Not dying is definitely a good thing, especially on Vitreous. Alright, a small key so far. We are gonna, of course, hope that, because this is Go mode, we're gonna hope to see the big key show up right here in this spike chest. No dice, unfortunately. It is a key, but not big enough.
I guess we're going to have to go on a hunt.
Oh no! P-Train! Oh man. Okay. Oh, that's right. He had a ton of safeties. That's right. But these oh yeah, looks like maybe he like just like poke the pokey, maybe? Such that he got kind of like ricocheted from one of the body things.
Yeah, sometimes it happens and you just get bopped into the side where the swords don't reach.
Okay. Alright, so it looks like maybe this is officially where people have stopped playing, maybe?
Yeah, it looks like this
is where,
yeah.
Man, this was I mean, like up till like in the power outage, this was an incredibly exciting race.
Yeah, it was super cool. There were like all the divergence and convergence, and then they all ended up at left side swamp, and yeah, who knows what would have happened. With Oneup going to ice, P-Train delaying it, maybe probably finding Kane first, then being able to go mode ice. Yeah, like maybe P-Train didn't find tempered. Who knows? It's
Hi, P-Train.
Hello.
Really sorry about the power outage on your side.
Yeah, absolutely no clue what caused it. It's a gorgeous day outside. Have plans to go outside, hang out afterwards. It's a really lovely day. Power cut off for about 20 seconds, and I have no clue why.
Yeah, that's really rough. Also, hey, Oneup.
Hey, Oneup.
Hey.
So
it's kind of I would want to say GG's. It was a beautiful race to watch. It's
yeah,
really a
for
shame
sure.
that this had to happen, but yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the reality of technology sometimes.
I feel like there's no way I was ahead of Oneup, which is one of the reasons why, like, I didn't want to put Oneup on the spot, but I kind of let it be his call, because I feel like I had to be behind. Like, there's no way.
You did find mids like maybe a minute later or something, but yeah, it was real close. You were both like in swamp at the same time, at least, like for your double dip. But then it turned out that Oneup did Ice Palace immediately after, while we saw you go into the Maya area and then checkerboard, and then the power outage happened, I assume. Or no, not. I guess not. But at least that's when it cut off. You probably went to Death Mountain.
Okay, yeah. So I guess when the power cut, y'all didn't get the delay. So I went to Hookshot Cave and I got the sword. After that, I actually went and did ice.
Okay.
So I did ice, found out that it was completely empty. Did Pyramid Fairy. Pyramid Fairy had tempered sword.
Okay.
That's good information.
Yeah, Pyramid Fairy left was tempered sword. And then at that point, I had essentially last located Smiths. So, and you saw this, once I got power back, I just basically picked up where I left off. Before doing any smiths, I did the hammer pegs, got the cane, and then immediately went to Turtle Rock, where I got Quake and Crystal Roller. So I was technically in go mode, but now a dungeon and a sword behind.
Yeah. Yeah, it turns out the last sword was on purple chest, so that's also interesting.
I kind of similarly, like, I had already gone up to the mountain with those mitts, and like got nothing up there basically, and then I'm like, all right, well now I go back down to Smith Chain, and there's the cane, and it's like, okay, immediately back up the mountain I go.
Yeah, no, this seed was super frustrating. This was not the seed to be aggressive in any way, shape, or form. Uh, I had to make a trip back to do. I don't know. When I found Book in Paradox Cave, I was like, oh well, if I have to come back and do Spike Cave, I'll do it with a Master Sword, and then do Ether Tablet and Spike Cave. Make it a little bit better of a decision.
Yeah,
But you
one
don't find
hour
a
later.
sword for you don't find a sword
Yeah.
at all. And then Spike Cave, it's like, do I really want to dive Pendant Swamp uh over Spike Cave, and then you find Flute and Ether, and it's like, oh well, I knew something was in Swamp. This has to be the something. Let me check all of this overworld I've done. Maybe route in Pedestal, and yeah, no, it just nothing worked out for me on this seed. I did have early boots, which I appreciated.
Yeah, both you did. So that was really really fun to watch. Like the early game was a treasure, wasn't it? It was ridiculous. I mean, at some point it had to dry up, but we were just wondering when it was going to end at some point.
Yeah, the beginning of the seed, yeah, like, I mean, it was nice that all those things kept on showing up, but like, I don't know, it was also a little challenging for me at least, because like not having rupees and bombs show up in CAC, and I'm like trying to go back and forth, trying to make things work out. And
Yeah,
thankfully the mirror showed up, so that made it pretty painless to put off like race game and library until I came back to do like dig game in the dark world and stuff. But like, I don't know, if the Moon Pearl had been there, like I would have been totally screwed. And I don't know, like, yeah, like the only thing I felt right was like lucking out and getting those early boots, because like usually I like to check Lake Hylia Island on the way to Saha, and like if I have the flippers, then like, I don't know, it's a lot more awkward to get out of there, so it's like, might as well swim to the hobo on your way over, and sure enough, there were boots.
Yeah, I did some weird stuff in the early game that I think worked out. I ended up going to the bombable hut with my last bomb to do that. Also, the tier 1 tree pool was four bombs. Um, so that was nice. I think I used 3 of them in Kakariko, and then used the last one to bomb the hut and get a few bombs
yeah,
there. So I had what I needed, but nothing more.
yeah. You just barely had enough money for the hookshot, enough bombs to clear out Kakariko. Yeah, One-Up's routing was a little bit more unfortunate in that case. Also isolating the Moon Pearl at Ice Rod Cave and having to come back for hookshot later in Kakariko. But it was really interesting to watch how y'all had very different routes also in the Dark World, and how you ended up converging like close to Swamp. And yeah, it was.
Did you single dip or double dip Swamp?
I single dipped Swamp, like, because I hadn't checked race game or library yet. Like my first trip to the Dark World, I basically started at Hype Cave and did like a clockwise trip around the Dark World, and then like I took that all the way to Catfish, and so at that point I hadn't done Pod yet, and the bow had shown up somewhere. So like I did Pod and Eastern together before Swamp, and then at that point like Swamp was pretty much the only thing left.
Yeah, for when I was doing Swamp, I had Pyramid Ledge, Catfish, Zora, one item in Skull, and Spike Cave. So I left side Swamp, and came back when it was an absolute last location.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like after Pod, like I figured, there's probably something in Swamp at this point. Like, just the odds are so great, but like, even if the mitts are there by themselves, like, it doesn't open a whole lot of stuff still. Like, a couple of checks on Smith Chain, Dark Death Mountain, but like, I don't have the flute or anything, so like, it doesn't open Mire area or anything. So, there's a good chance something's going to be in in Eastern as well, because like, I still need the cane. I probably need another medallion at least. I still need mitts, so I'm like, might as well do Eastern while I'm here, so I don't have to like do Swamp, do all the mitts checks, and then come right back to Eastern. But unfortunately, that came up pretty empty.
Gotcha. But yeah, I mean, I can't really apologize for the power, but I do. I hate the situation, and I appreciate you allowing the run back. So, looking forward to. We have rescheduled for Monday, 1:30 p.m. EST, and hopefully I complete it.
Yeah, but thank you very much for the race anyway, and
Yeah.
I'm
It was definitely a really exciting race. So hopefully game 4 will be just as exciting, except without the power outages.
Yeah.
and hopefully without less with less last locating, but should be an exciting race nonetheless. And yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. So, but yeah, thank you very much for coming in for the interview, and good luck Monday. Thank you very much, Clear Mouse, for being here with me.
Oh yeah, no, this was great, Ari. Definitely looking forward to the next time. Of course, thank you to our tracker, Demons Druid. Actually did a really nice job being able to keep everything on track for us, making things a bit easier, especially being able to talk about the race. And yeah, and thanks P-Train and Oneup, especially after all this, we're definitely looking forward to a game 4. Thank you for racing at least today. And I think that's gonna be it for rando races tonight. Definitely turn in tomorrow. I think we got kind of the last couple rounds: Humbug versus Pika Pals, games 2 and 3. Tomorrow at 1:10 p.m. And then, as P-Train Oneup said, they are rescheduled their game 4 to 1:30. Channel TBD. So,
yeah. And right after this, we have Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green. So be sure to stick around, and hope you have a great day.
Yeah, enjoy.